Hello everybody, and welcome to a tutorial where I try to show you how to use an older ship program, the Warcraft 3 map editor. This is a very powerful program that allows you to make new maps, modify every value that the game has assigned to anything, from the model to the speed to the name, and you can import custom stuff, and it's really powerful. So first of all, you want to locate your Warcraft 3 file. It should look something like this. Next, it should be right below Warcraft 3, and then World Editor. So you're just gonna open that up real quick. Now, so you'll end up with this. Now, using the scroll wheel, you can zoom out, but you'll see that there's this little like black thing. So you can fix this by holding down Control and then scrolling out a bunch, and then it's all fine. Now, I highly recommend just opening up a pre-existing map. Like, let's just go with Adrenaline. Now, if we open up Adrenaline, it might take longer on older systems, but this just allows you to see what the map looks like. Now, you'll see these weird, like, spinny things, right? And so, this one right here, with the necropolis on it, that is a player spawn point, okay? And this will help, and this just basically tells the game, hey, a player spawns in here. And you need a player spawn for each of the characters, and as long as it is not fixed start locations, these will be randomized, okay? So, I will open up a new map just to try and show you. I'm going to make a 128 by, there we go. Oh, playable area. I'll just make that. There we go. So, now we're here. You'll notice this is a very large map, and when we zoom out to see all of it, you can't really see anything. So we're going to go over to View, Grid, change that to large. So now it's a lot easier for us to see everything. And so, first, of course, if we're building the map itself, we're going to hit T on our keyboards, and that's going to open up the terrain palette, and then that allows you to raise the starting surface up by 1. You can change the size of it all. Although, if you do it on here, it'll go up by 1, and then it'll go up to 2 by here. So you can do that, okay? And also to keep in mind, the game can't do cliffs higher than 2. So if you do that, it'll just make a mini cliff down there. The ramp tool is extremely useful. It needs to be a flat line. Diagonals, well, it can be a diagonal, but they kind of are really annoying. I mainly just use flat lines because they're much easier, and as you can see, you just kind of gotta just wiggle around a bunch because it's quite a janky tool. I really don't like it. It's usually the last thing I do in a map. So you'll see over here that there's also this, which is more for minor details when you're done, as this can raise the terrain and just add noise, as you can see there. Again, you can just do that. It looks ugly as hell, but you know, you do you. You can smooth it out and stuff, which you can totally just and then, and then just smooth it all out, and then you have a somewhat natural-ish looking landscape for your players to play on. So, you can also do textures, but I find it really annoying. I cannot do texture work at all. Oh yeah, you can also add blight in, but I don't recommend that, as it already automatically spawns it in. Now, you might notice that there are no trees. Trees are what is called a doodad, right? And you can spawn them in with this. I usually use this setting for trees, as it's really easy to put them down, and it's somewhat small, but it's also not annoyingly small. Okay? So, this is very useful. You could also add different ones for chops down if you're doing that. You can also do custom maps by changing the thing to a campaign. I haven't explored that too much. I believe it's somewhere in here. It's really annoying. You can add, you can add like gates, which, as you see in the campaigns, which can be destroyed automatically. You don't need to set anything up like that. Most of these can be destroyed. Now there is some that are demon storms, or if you, where is it? Environment, is that it? No, it's not. Cliff terrain. Like, you might see something that resembles the source missing texture, right? A pink and black square. That usually just means that there is an effect. The pink and black square will not show up in game. Okay? That's just something to be aware of. Alright, so now you know how to do that. Unit palette. You shouldn't really care about regional camera unless you're doing like, again, a campaign mission or a one-player mission. So, it's just here in the buildings. This is the player's start point. And you can do that with all of them, right? Now, you'll see that one of them has the building, the other one does not. That's because in order for the game to actually register and realize, oh, there are multiple players in this map, we have to go to Scenario and go to Player Properties. Might take a while to load. All of the menus take a while to load. It's really annoying. So you're gonna go and click User. This field you can just leave by default, and you can just change them to selectable. In Scenario Properties, you can also change that. I don't really know what it does. Basically, I haven't messed around with it too much. But what you can do here is you can just, if you want to give, like, I don't know, if you're doing a custom map again for like a campaign, then you can pick the AI and go, the AI can't have knights or mortar teams or griffin riders or any, see, and that's just to that player. Same with the abilities and same with the upgrades, so you can just pick all that. Okay, now keep in mind that the start building and the 5 workers are auto-generated. You do not need to do that at the start, okay? That'll just mean that the person has 2 bases. And yes, you can make it so that in a melee map that someone starts out with like all of that and the other person starts out with like a bunch of enemies in their base. You can do that. I don't know, you do you. So, in order to spawn, now, there's another player which cannot be accessed called Neutral Passive. Now, the neutrals are non-player characters or buildings. Now, Neutral Passive is stuff like the gold mine, or the mercenary thing, or the tavern, or the dragon roost. Just a bunch of things like that. Waypoints haven't explored too much, but they're all of these things. You can also put critters around the map, and they'll randomly wander around once the game loads up. And if we go to Neutral Hostile, then this is where you can start making some creep camps. So you can go in here, you can go like, and make them. Now, if you drag over them, and you double click on them, it's a little bit annoying, you can't move your mouse during that. You can camp, and that'll mean that your units needs to be a bit closer in order to trigger their attack, basically. Okay, and you can only say I'm using the unit palette, which means I can only select units, which are all of these. I cannot, however, select trees. But if I go to the doodad palette, I can select the trees now. And that means I can't delete a bunch of trees when I'm using the unit palette. And it's kind of useful. It's a bit annoying, but you get used to it. So you got to double click on an enemy to add items. Then you go to items dropped. And you want to use custom item table, new set, new item, and say you want to add this ridiculous item to this random creep, this forest troll. You can do that. But if you want it to be a completely random chance, then or to add like a different chance of that happening, you can also add a Kalen's Dagger of Escape, which is sort of like the Blink Dagger in Dota 2. So now, as you can see, there's a 50% chance. You can also add a new set with the Crown of Kings. So now there's a 100% chance of the Crown of Kings, and a 50% chance of the Claws of Attack, and a 50% chance of Kalen's Dagger of Escape. So now that will have that white circle that the creeps from the pre-did map earlier will have. So if you want to add custom, what's it called? Custom stats to your units, I will show you how to do that now. So if we go over to unit palette, pick a random character, make them undead because that makes it really easy. Right? And we go Acolyte and an Abomination. We can now go into this little helmet button up here. And then we can go standard units, undead, melee, acolyte. And that will open up this. Now, this is how you make custom units, right? You can, if you go up to art and it's under art model, then this window will open up. And if you go over here, then you'll see that you can preview the model that it's going on to be over here. And it's annoying because like some things like the Barrow-Den are really small in this, and some are just gigantic for no reason. Like, well, yeah, that guy, I have no idea why, but there's every single model in the entire game is here to your disposal. So now we can make the Acolyte look like an Abomination. But you'll see up here that he still has the Acolyte picture. That'll be under art there, right? You can change the abilities, so we'll go into buildings, we'll go into Necropolis. So it has two abilities. Blight Growth Large, which just means it summons the Blight in a large radius, and it has Return Lumber. Return Lumber is for the ghouls. As you can see, stuff like the Graveyard also has Return Lumber. Okay? And so you can also mess around with things like items, although this is a bit more difficult to do. Destructibles, doodads, abilities, you can mess around with everything. Basically, if you go over to this, it'll open up the campaign editor. This is how you make your custom campaigns. I believe you just make a crap ton of map files, and then you just chuck them into the campaign. And then, of course, you load the campaign up, and I believe you go into single player, custom, and then you go into it. Okay? So if we go over here, here is one that I fully do not understand. It's the AI editor. It is complicated. I have no idea how to use it at all. But like, yeah, map summary, this is like, yeah, so it's a pretty useful tool, and it's amazing because you can say make this guy just be insanely overpowered just by going to heroes, Crypt Lord, and just giving him every ability known to the game. And that should, yes, there's one more thing. If you go to scenario, map description, This is how you change the name of your map. It is not the file name. It doesn't use the file name. It's handy if you name them the same thing, but they're very different. There's also this. I don't really mess with that. You can change the loading screen to a campaign screen and use Orc 5. Also, you can really quick hit test map. This is our custom maps. And so here it is. We can access this, and I don't make wraps down, but this is our custom map. It's all fully functional, yeah, and you will be player world edit, which means that you will have to change. It does make a custom profile world edit whenever you do this, and so you just need to swap back if you want to do campaigns or other stuff like that. Okay, I believe that's it with the world editor. So, alright. Thanks. Hope you have a good one. Bye.